Hey everyone, it's Amber and welcome to another video. I don't know if you can tell, but there's a color scheme with me. Dark colors, my color. I love everything gray, black, my favorite colors. So in today's video, I am going to do the reading log for the rest of February. I have actually purchased some manga for, I guess, February. I'm just waiting on a few of them to still arrive, especially since this is like before the end of February by 2 days. I'm waiting on that one. So we're gonna go over the books that I have read so far in the later portion of February, and of course, like I said, there are 2 more days left of February, so probably the books I read within the next 2 days I will include into the March reading log. I think what I may do is I may split it up into like 2 reading logs a month or possibly weekly. I guess it just really depends on how much I read. I've been able to read a good few, and so probably not as much as I would like. It's been weird right now. I think like a couple months ago I made a video was like talking about how bad my business was, and then like all of a sudden within the last month it's like picked up, and then it's supposed to pick up again in March. So it's just like, I feel like with the jobs and businesses that I have, you are constantly in flux. So you just never really like get to a decent area. Without further ado, let's jump into the reading log. And I do have one normal book that I will include towards the end. Starting with manga, we are going to start with, I read the 5th volume of Yakuza Lover, and I've had this for a while and I need to get the next 2 volumes. Probably will be doing that for next month. If you don't know Yakuza Lover, it's basically about a female character who's dating this man who's the leader of the Yakuza, and the reason why I got it is they actually don't censor things. I have to be selective about like flipping through. You never know what you're gonna find in here. So like the artwork is pretty good, especially for a shoujo, but I would definitely say this is not shoujo even though it's licensed by Shoujo Beat. I would put this more on the josei side of things. It's not that the plot is intricate or anything, but just know that like when you get this, you are probably getting this for the fact that it shows a little bit more romance in that side of things. And I think I'm getting another manga next month that's kind of similar on the josei side, which I'm so excited. Like, I love josei, so shoujo's great. I have a lot of shoujo. I watch a lot of shoujo, do not get me wrong, but I do find shoujo just a little bit lacking just because I kind of want more and they never have more. I feel like in a shoujo, I'm pretty happy if the main character after like 12 volumes kisses. Josei or any of this 18 plus stuff, it's just not a problem. So moving on to the next one that I've read is, I actually read the first 2 volumes, which are the only ones out right now. I have volume number 1 of The Other World's Books Depend on the Bean Counter. And as well, I read the 2nd volume, and I think I've mentioned this before, I read the manga a little bit online. So basically these 2 volumes I think are kind of where I was at when I was reading them online, so I just did another reread. As well, they are based off the novel, which I was reading the novel and I enjoyed the novel, but I think with these 2, besides just one part of the plot, there's also a lot about the mathematical side. So basically the main character is like a workaholic, and so even being in a different world, because it's about parallel worlds and everything, he's still a workaholic. So you kind of have to, there's a lot with math, there's a lot with like the money system because he works in finance, so there's a lot of that as well. It's definitely heavier on dialogue than the vast majority of manga I read, so keep that in mind, and the novel is the same. I would love to see the novel get picked up. Maybe it will get picked up now that they are more, light novels getting picked up on 7C and everything. We'll see, but it's interesting. You have to kind of like heavy dialogue stories, but the one thing is the artwork is also stunning. Like, they really do a good job with the artwork. I think the person who draws it if I'm not mistaken, also got pretty popular from drawing Yuri on Ice like stuff, so beautiful.
Oh no, he's hot!
This man, he has a chokehold on me. Ooh. So moving out of the manga that I've read in this later portion, I have been reading a few novels I kind of mentioned, and I was able to finish one of them. So the one that I finished is The Husky and His White Cat Shizun. I feel like this is one of those ones that, like most in this genre, it's hard for me to get back into it, but once I get into it, like I can't stop. I basically finished the whole book within like 2 days, and I just spent like every waking hour and staying up late just to read it, which is like crazy for me because I love my sleep. My one complaint is I wish the next volume was coming out sooner, just because they kind of end on a cliffhanger on this one, and I swear this is what they love to do. But then you look at the translations, and I think the translations have the third one coming out in fall or winter, which is like,
Give it to me now!
way too long for me. So I found a horribly translated version online that's kind of sketchy, but I'm kind of reading through it just because I kind of want to know. They left it in such a way that there's so much to figure out, and I cannot wait a couple more months. So I'm reading the horribly translated versions. Then I'm going to go buy the official version when it is released, because trust me, these translations are like absolute. But I am so desperate. I am so desperate for just something. Like, I need more. Please. So evidently, like, I cannot say these names, but Moran, like, that's an easier one, but Wayne, I don't know how to say it, but whatever, the other main character, the Phoenix side one, that's easier for me to say than their names. That man has a chokehold on my heart. Like, I feel for him so much. So this is gonna be a little bit of spoiler, so I'm gonna like blank out some of the sections if I'm smart enough when I edit. So from what I know from this story is they hint at this. We know that Moran is a reincarnation of his previous self, which seems to be pretty common in some of these like Danmai stuff. They seem to be a lot of reincarnating and then coming back and either like fixing their life or like, you know, other people are reincarnated, blah, 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 blah. So towards the end of this volume, just as spoilers for the second volume, they hint that. And then there's also some like, there's a scene when they're in the whining, whatever, my man Phoenix eyes. He may have been there's a lot that happens in the second volume opposed to the first volume, but I do know there's like different, there's like I think the story is a lot more complex than I originally thought, and I'm really excited to see how it goes, which is why I can't wait. I know that the second volume, from what I've heard and seen, is like the fluffier volume, which is kind of funny because like it's still pretty angsty, and then going forward is supposed to be really angsty and like really depressing and dark, which, you know, I'm always a fan of that. I can confidently say that probably right now I don't know how this ranks for me in terms of the other Seven Seas books they have picked up, between like Scum Villa and Modazushi, Heaven's Official Blessing. I haven't read all of it. Like, I don't know where this ranks, but I do really enjoy both of the main characters. Admittedly, if you've read Modazushi, the main character, one of them, is kind of like, it gives you the feelings of Wiwak-san or whatever, and then same thing, the other guy is kind of similar to Lan Wangji, but I think it's just common tropes. So if you kind of like the cheeky personality and then the cold person, then I definitely recommend this. But this has like so much more angst and so much so slow. Like, at least Modazushi, I was like, okay, like I get this. And then this one I'm like,
Why you always lying?
them wontons, man. Them wontons. So now moving out of the manga / light novels I've read, I'm gonna quickly cover one book that I have read, and oh my god. I did not know what to expect from this book. All I knew is I saw it on like YouTube or TikTok, and somebody was commenting about how this like little kid bought this book and the mother didn't know what the book was, and the guy was just like he just bought it. Wow. Wow. This book is The Ice Planet Barbarian, and like I said, I'm not going to go into super big detail, but holy crap. I have read some manga that is spicy. I have read not too many novels like this. Like I usually enjoy more story.
I'm dying. Help me.
I can't even share half the things. But let me tell you, about 60 pages in, you're gonna be reading this like, this is great. And then you're gonna read a certain line and you're gonna go,
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
the what loving alien? That was literally my reaction reading this. I read it, I survived, I conquered it. Will I read the rest in this series? No. But I will say that I at least read it and I gave it a shot. And I mean, aliens are cool, I guess, but not that cool. I definitely don't think I would ever want to be with an alien. So that's what I have read for the later portion of February. Woohoo! We made it to the end almost. There will be a monthly manga haul coming out for February as well. I'm just waiting for the last like 7 books to arrive. As for March, I am hoping to finally jump into Heaven's Official Blessing again now that I have finished White Cat and His Chizun, as well as reading in line. Raven in the Inner Palace is one of the novels I will finish, and just throwing in some manga here and there. So for me, most of the time I have about an hour or 30 minutes every night to read, and then I just try and like cram as much as I can. Yeah, so that's what I read this past like I don't know how many days. I hope you guys have a great rest of the month or week, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. Bye!